Today on the podcast, we're talking about a big update from OpenAI that they've added to ChatGPT. And this is the ability to essentially work with PDFs. There's a bunch of really cool things that they have added the capabilities of doing in here, but I want to read their tweet. And then I want to get your take on this, Connor, because I know you've been talking about this over on LinkedIn and getting some great feedback and responses. This is their tweet. They said, you can now export your deep research reports as well-formatted PDFs, complete with tables, images, linked citations, and sources. Just click the share icon and select download as PDF. It works for both new and past reports. This is fantastic, especially because I feel like a lot of times, like, what you want to just copy and paste the text and like the images, try to individually download. Like, that's just such a nightmare. Now you have a really clean way to work with deep research that you actually do on OpenAI. So I don't know, Connor, what's your take? Is this useful?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's sort of sneaky useful, and I think it's kind of huge. I wrote about this on LinkedIn, and it got a really big response. So I'm going to do something I don't think I've ever done this show, Jaeden. I'm just going to read my LinkedIn post because it's kind of
I like
encapsulates
it.
what I usually sort of want
Also,
to.
shout out, make sure you're following Connor on LinkedIn because that you get these things immediately as he thinks about them. And of course, he's got 100,000 followers. He's got the good takes on AI.
That's what everybody needs. Everybody needs more Connor in their lives. So this is what I was saying. I said OpenAI just released a feature that could have a huge impact on labor. Deep research output now can be, and deep research, you click on it, it works for 8 to 15 minutes and produces like a 10 or 12 page, really well researched document, 30 sources, all that sort of stuff. Deep research output can now be downloaded as a well-formatted PDF with tables, images, and sources. This is why it's a way bigger deal than we think. Large language models like ChatGPT don't replace jobs, they replace tasks. And a huge and often well-paid task across almost every field is this: research something, distill it, format that mess, deliver it to a boss or client into a readable, beautiful format. That's a task that people are paid to do every day. And now it's compressible into minutes. Until today, the catch with ChatGPT's deep research was adoption, not because the insights weren't strong, but because the output did not look like something you would send to a client or a boss. It came across as pages of raw text in a chat window. It felt like a rough draft, too many steps to get it across the finish line. But now, in a few steps, you have a clean, well-formatted PDF with headings, images, tables, citations. It looks like something a junior person or even senior person produced. So, Jaeden, I read all that because to me, you sometimes see like, here's this cool new feature. But every once in a while, I see something, you see something where we're like, oh my gosh, people don't realize how huge this is going to be. The whole thing with deep research is that it's awesome. But again, it just gives you this thing in a ChatGPT window or whatever, which is just pages and pages. And so you're not used to it like that. But if it could output something where it actually looked like what you would print out or email to somebody, that is a task that somebody's doing. There's no more friction, nothing. Jaeden, to me, this has a huge impact potentially on labor. I don't know I don't know we were talking about it offline a little bit, but what were your thoughts on all this?
Yeah, no, I think that this is super, super fascinating. I remember at one point you needed to pay $200 a month for deep research. That's not the case anymore, is it? For
So real
ChatGPT?
quick on that, it's not the case anymore. Again, real quick, with your plus model, so $20 a month. I think you get now. It was, I think, 8 to 10 deep research queries a month. I think it's now. I might have this wrong. It's something like 20 or
24.
30 or 24.
24.
24. And it's available to for the next month, right? So you have something like 24 a month. I just got the Pro for the first time, $200, and now I have like 100 or something like that.
Okay. That's probably why I haven't used it a ton. Okay, I'll get into this, and I do think it's super useful. My one caveat shout out is that I've been using Grok, and they have a deep search feature,
Yeah.
and it's pretty much unlimited. So I think that's probably why I've been using it. But that being said, I think ChatGPT does a really good job of their
Wait, Jaeden, on that,
formatting.
real quick on that, does it do, because I know, and super sidebar here, but a lot of tools now have this deep research. Gemini was the first one to kind of like give it to everybody. Perplexity has one, which apparently in the prompt it says, say a lot of words, which is very, very funny. But Grok that's the same thing, right? It's a deep research type of tool. Is
They
that
have
what
a
that is?
deep search and they have a deeper search. So depending on how deep you're looking to search, they have two options for you.
Go ahead,
I'm
sorry.
assuming the deeper searches use a lot of words.
All right, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Keep going on what you were saying.
No, so I do think it's really useful over on ChatGPT. I like how they format this really nicely into documents with images and all that kind of stuff. As far as the PDF goes, I think this is very useful. My one thing that I would be concerned about is still editability. I really think Google could be the absolute king in this field if they really try, in a sense that you should be able to export every Gemini conversation to Google Docs and just like edit and run with it there. And I think OpenAI might even be working on some tools that can help you do that. I think that's kind of the thing, because, you don't just want to create something with ChatGPT and then say, download this as a PDF and send it right away. Like, you're almost never going to do that. You always want to tweak it a little bit. So my caveat is, as long as they have some good tools that will allow you to tweak it a little bit, which I think their Canvas tool allows you to do.
Yeah.
So you can do the deep search, open it with Canvas, edit it a little bit, and then download it as a PDF. Very, very useful. I actually will say, though, I don't think OpenAI is the first to do this, to give Perplexity some credit. Perplexity pages are a very good tool that, well, it's not a PDF. It's like a literal web page you can send people, and you can edit those. I've made a bunch of Perplexity pages. You can tweak them, add images, change them, do a bunch of really useful stuff. But I think it all just gets down to the same problem, which is that you don't want it to be obvious that this is AI generated. You don't want to just spit out kind of this AI generated chat thing. You need to customize it. You may need to make it look nice. If the UI looks like a good report and the content is good, and you go vet it and tweak it and verify it, this can be a way to go 10 times faster on your reports, and they look beautiful. So I think OpenAI really is doing a big service to people, knowledge workers that need to create reports and give people updates on things. This is a very fast way to do it.
By the way, ChatGPT is now, for me anyway, has defaulted to Canvas a lot now. So it just sort of like throws it, which sometimes drives me a little nuts, but like, you're right, because it's more editable. I don't know what it looks like to edit a PDF in this way. I haven't tried it yet. So 2 questions. First of all, Jaeden, you said you've tried pages in Perplexity. So I was wondering sort of like what you use that for. And the second question is, we may have talked about this a long time ago, but one of the cool things about the other question on this is like, one of the cool things about Perplexity and pages was, I thought, and I remember we did the podcast on this a long time ago, it was actually a very smart move by Perplexity, which is raising, by the way, boatloads at this point. But it was cool because it started to put out URLs that were then searchable. So I started to find Perplexity pages as like the number 5 thing on a Google search or something like that. So it was also like a really smart way for Perplexity to do that. But when you do like a Perplexity page or something like that, you use it, like, what's interesting about that for you? Like, how do you use it? What's your purpose for it?
Perplexity pages, I originally used it for SEO at the beginning when it came out. There was like a weird glitch where those pages were ranking really well in Google. So if you made a Perplexity page about your business or your podcast or your project, it would rank really well on Google because it was running off of Perplexity's page, like their page rank. I think they've changed it a little bit, like everything always does. So it was a good hack for a minute. And I don't see too many Perplexity pages ranking for things anymore on Google. Also, if I'm being 100% honest, I'm not searching on Google like almost ever for anything. And this actually concerns me to a massive degree. I mean, we're talking today about like, how do you make nice PDFs and documents? But like, getting to a broader point, like when you gather the information to make those PDFs and documents, I don't know who's trying to do any sort of research on Google anymore. Like, I just never go there. Maybe Gemini, right? But like Google, I would go to Google when I need like a specific website and I'm too lazy to type it into the thing. And maybe I don't know the exact URL of the website, but I'm like, what's like, this restaurant name in like Phoenix? Like, I generally know it. And then I'm like, oh, that's their website. Like, they have a random, like, try deliciousjoes.com. I'm like, oh, I didn't know they have try in their URL. Like, I just didn't know the URL. I just wanted the menu, right? So like, that's what I use Google for, but it's never for the research that you're using to create these PDFs in the first place.
Never. And by the way, I think you saw this, that for the first time, I think Safari saw Google searches go down like last month or whatever for the first time. And to me, that was significant because you're right. Even though people like us and probably people listening are using AI way more for search rather than just a straight Google search, there's still many, many, many hundreds of millions of people still using Google search, but it seems like it's starting to make a dent in it a little bit. So speaking of like SEO, by the way, quick shout out. Every time Jaeden gives like one of these like little tidbits, it's like, hey, here's my hack, which by the way, he never told me that one because he doesn't tell me anything. He saves it for his school community.
I don't tell Conor anything. I keep him in the dark. Can't let him get too far ahead of me.
This is why we hate it. This is why Jaeden are actually secret rivals. But on his school community, which is a phenomenal thing, $19 a month, AI Hustle. If you just Google that, like, Jaeden has all these hacks on there, which is amazing. Anyway, back to it. Like, this is, I just feel like with pages, or sorry, not with pages, with the PDFs on deep research, the friction is now leaving. I think that when you tell people, oh, this job is going away, this task is going away, they're like, yeah, I understand that. But you haven't showed them that because there's still the friction of going into ChatGPT, creating something, pulling it out, putting it and making it look nice. But if this just spits it out, to me, we talk a lot about how this impacts labor. To me, that's the thing. It actually impacts that job. And that, it's almost to me like one of the first signs, canary in the coal mine, of like, this is really going to make an impact sooner than I thought,
100%. Okay, one last thing, and I promise I'll stop shilling Grok. But I'm doing a deep research right now. I'm using the exact same prompt on both Grok and OpenAI. And the cool thing is on Grok, as it does the research, it's like, okay, I'm thinking, and it's pulling up literally play by play. Okay, I'm browsing the internet. I found several results with reasons to move to XY to Raleigh. Like, it's like pulling up all the blogs that it's like pulling information from. This is what I love about Grok, is it's doing it in real time and showing you every single step. When I'm over on ChatGPT, finally it pulled it up. But for the first, it does have a little activity thing on the side. Okay, well, for the first, like, I would say 60 to 90 seconds, it was just said, getting started with the search, and it was just sitting there.
Yeah.
So anyways, I guess this is a good thing. I won't roast OpenAI too much. They do have it as well. But both of these are fantastic tools. These deep research things that they have are very useful, but they do take a minute. Anyways, I'm excited. I think that we're going to see more and more people using these to create actually valuable assets like these PDFs. You'll be seeing them shared more and more. So very excited about that. Hey guys, if you enjoyed the podcast today and if you learned anything new, make sure to go try out Grok, go try out OpenAI's deep research. You'll be able to do some incredible things. Make sure to rate and review the podcast wherever you get it. And of course, as always, make sure that you have signed up for Conor's AI Mindset course. Absolutely incredible. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll catch you guys all next time.